I feel that I am very certain there is no God, just as well as I don't believe in unicorns, trolls, dragons, all the other mythical things that don't exist as well.
But are you 100% certain that
Well,
there's no God at all?
I can't be 100% certain that there isn't a unicorn farting glitter in clouds, but I'm pretty damn certain.
Okay. Well, then in my books, you're not a Gnostic atheist. You're an agnostic atheist.
So, because I can't be 100%?
Well, because my guess is you'd be open to evidence, right?
Sure. Yeah. If you could show me a unicorn that would fart glitter, then I would drop my jaw and I would say, yes, okay, now I believe in unicorns. But
Right.
the chances of that happening are so slim that it's really ridiculous to even debate it.
Yeah, and so, but even the fact that you're open to evidence and open to the idea of being wrong about almost anything, in my books, puts you at the agnostic level.
So there's absolutely no way to be agnostic. To be
You
certain.
broke up on me a little bit. Say again.
So there's no way to be certain of there not being a unicorn that farts glitter. I mean, how can
Correct.
you? How can you make a profound claim and say that there's still a chance of it still it being real or being true?
How can I make a claim that there's a chance of it being true? Because there's
a chance that there could be a God. I don't see a possibility for a God. I don't see a place in existence that he could exist in. I don't see a grounds for or a reason for an existence.
Is it possible that has there been anything in your life where you haven't seen a reason for something, but then it turns out there was a reason for something?
In this case, we're talking in a spiritual sense. That means that there has to be some sort of spiritual influence for this God to interact with our lives. And I've seen no evidence of anything like that.
But
no.
Is it possible that there could be evidence in the future?
No, I don't see possible evidence or reason how. If you could show me some sort of evidence that prayer or magic of some sort could exist, then we'd have some foundation.
Okay, so let's say in the future, prayer was shown beyond the alpha of 0.05 to have a effect on, let's say, health outcomes. Would you?
That's impossible.
Would you believe then?
I would if you could show that, but I don't believe that's possible.
Okay, so you would believe what? That, let's say, people.
Oh, I'd have to rethink everything if you could show me that. I would love to see it, but I don't believe it's possible.
Do you believe? So. Are you open to that idea that it could happen?
Not really, no.
So you're not open to new evidence.
It's possible. I'm open to new evidence, but the thing is that there's no proof of spiritual energy or any type of telekinesis or anything.
We're agreed that there is no current evidence. We're agreed. My question is not current. My question is future. If in the future there was new evidence that showed, for example, you mentioned prayer, that showed that prayer did have an effect that was statistically significant,
we would have found evidence of any type of interaction with that type of spiritual energy or whatever you want to call it. We would have already found that.
But what if this God who's behind this prayer purposely had, for some plan we don't know of, wanted to stay hidden till some point in the future, just to mess with us? Could be an evil God even.
I don't see a possibility of it. And I don't see, like I said, if there was such thing as a creator or a divine creator that created all things, he would have had to have lived outside of time.
Does the fact that you can't see a possibility mean that there isn't one?
Well, when you look at all things and you break it down and you look at the process of elimination, shows you that there's no possibility, then that's when you come to the conclusions of what is true and what is real. When you break it down, there's no possible way, there's no realm, there's no reason for, there's no logical explanation of why, other than what is obvious, that there aren't any unicorns that fart glitter.
Chad, with all due respect, I'm hearing you contradict yourself. On one hand, you're saying you're open to new evidence, but on the other hand, you're saying
I don't see the possibility of that evidence. If you could show me some form of possibility of that evidence, then yes, but I don't see it. I don't believe you can.
Do you think that sometimes even in history, where someone has thought, oh, there's no possibility of even this evidence coming about, and then it comes about? Can you think of any examples in history where that's happened, where someone said, oh, no, there can't be evidence for that, and then actually, as scientists investigate, oh, there was evidence for that? I can think of a few things. Can you? I can think at least one.
Well, the thing is, we're talking about a God belief here, and gods.
Well, right now I'm talking about evidence. Right now we're talking about evidence. So you keep saying,
what evidence is there for God?
You keep saying that you're open to evidence, new evidence.
Right. Yeah.
So if you're open to,
I learn.
So if you're truly open to new evidence, I would think this new evidence would include evidence for anything.
Yes.
Even a God.
So. If you say 9/11 is a conspiracy, I don't believe you. But if you showed me enough evidence, then we might.
What evidence would you need? What evidence would you need to see to believe in a God? How am I doing, Billy?
Doing all right.
in order to believe in a God, or even play with the idea that there might be a God, you would have to show me some sort of miracle, or he would have the hand of God actually performing something, interacting with our lives.
I want you to be very specific, Chad. Tell me what type of miracle it would take for you.
It would have to be a pretty strong one, that's for sure.
Can you think of a very specific example?
That's a very good question. Okay, in order to convince me that there is a God, or there could be a God, it would have to be something pretty divine, something that showed the hand of God actually interacting with our lives. And I really just don't see the possibility. I don't think it could be possible that you could show me that, or anyone could show me that, no matter how hard of a believer they might be.
Okay, so let's take a scenario. Let me help you out here. Let's say there is a God, but let's say this God is like a capricious, fickle, not that great of a God. He purposely, for the last 13.6 billion years, has remained hidden. But let's say next year at this time, he decides he's going to present himself, and he presents himself to every single human being on the planet at the exact same time, and gives them any miracle they request on the spot. So it's not just you, Chad, who gets the miracle they need to see, but everyone does. And it's all different for every person. Would you then believe in this God based on that evidence? Again,
I don't see the possibility of that ever happening.
Not the question, Chad. I didn't ask.
But the thing is,
my question I'm asking you, if you can see it, or can. My question is, would you believe given that type of evidence?
It would take that type of evidence.
So you would believe.
If something like that happened, it would devastate me. It would probably, my whole world would tear
Again,
apart,
that's an interesting
everything that I've known from, everything I've ever known from the time I've ever, just learning everything I've ever known about science, philosophy, chemistry, the cosmos.
Let me soften it a bit and go to something where I think a lot of deists have situated themselves. Let's say there is a God out there, and he is a hidden God, but he was the prime mover. He was the first cause.
Oh, we can't hear you anymore. Or I can't hear him anymore.
I can't hear him either, but I think he just said a bad word. Good thing he was muted. See, that was God. There's proof of God right there, Chad. He muted you because he knew you were going to swear. Or did you swear just because you were muted? I don't know. But a lot of people on this planet, Chad, I think you can still hear me. Put your thumb up if you can still hear us. Okay. So there are quite a few people on this planet who believe in some type of very fuzzy, nebulous, nondescript God. And these are the hardest ones to say anything against because you can't find any contradictions with this God because the nature is so fuzzy. There's nothing to know about it to say it's a contradictory God. So there's nothing logically contradictory about this God, but this God exists and he created the universe. And for some reason has decided to remain hidden. We're almost at a breakthrough here. Chad is going to be an agnostic atheist within the next 10 minutes. He should not have said that he's open to new evidence. That was his downfall.
Don't do it.
Because as soon as you admit that you're open to new evidence, then you're compelled to leave open the concept of God. Convert this heathen.
Can you hear me now?
Yes. Can you hear us?
Yeah. Okay. I'm open to new evidence if there's evidence that could be shown. But I don't believe that you have any evidence or could show me evidence. And so therefore it's futile.
So your position is that I
would believe in dragons if you could show me some fossil evidence, some records.
Mm-hmm. So with dragons, do you think that it's possible that dragon fossils could exist somewhere that we haven't found?
No.
You think it's impossible?
We would have found them by now.
Do you think that there are dinosaurs that exist that we've never found?
I'm sure there's quite a few species.
Wouldn't we have found them by now?
Chad, this is not amateur hour. You gotta step it up.
Maybe
Chad.
I'm a bit of an amateur.
So that's my point, though, is there are things that we haven't discovered.
True. But we have discovered how the universe could be created without the help of or need for God. So it's unnecessary. If it's unnecessary and it's obvious that God was created as an excuse to explain things that we couldn't explain because science at the time wasn't around to explain these things, then what's the point in humoring and keeping the idea still alive? Integrity,
honesty with yourself, intellectual honesty, truth.
Intellectual honesty, I could have to say that I'm an agnostic atheist. And intellectually, scientifically speaking, I have to say that I'm an agnostic atheist.
Time? I said 10 minutes. Where are we at? Mic drop. Lalo, were you listening?
Yeah. Lalo goes no. We can't.
And Chad, this is perfect. He goes mute. He can't defend himself anymore.
We can't hear you right now.
Chad, we honestly can't hear you. But it was really good for you coming on. I hope you have a great evening and welcome to the Agnostic Atheism. Oh, there'll be a certificate in the mail for you. Sign up with my producer, Chet. He will make sure you get your coupons. Yeah, gift baskets incoming. That was wonderful.
That was funny.
Thanks for being a good sport, Chad.
Yeah. I mean, the big thing that comes to mind with that, like he was talking about, like, if that was true, my entire worldview would be like destroyed. Like my understanding of the universe and what I know is that's just gone. Like,
and keep in mind, this is exactly what the theists say.
Yeah.
Chad, what you said was exactly what the Christians and Muslims say.
And I'm imagining the physicist that first discovered that something can behave as both a wave and a particle. Like, in what we thought was like a deterministic universe in which things behave, one cause causes another thing, causes another thing, causes another thing, and it's all determined. And all of a sudden that is shattered. It's now probabilistic. Like that is a scientific breakthrough that actually happened and is now forging a new way through our future of technology. But a previously conceived notion of the world was shattered, and people had to completely adjust their views. And that's something that happened scientifically as well. But do you think that they would have even considered that a possibility when we thought everything was just purely deterministic? Like if you know the position of every single atom in the universe and what they're doing, then you can predict exactly what's going to happen. Like that's something that we thought the way the world worked, and now we're discovering that's not the way the world works. No matter how much information you have, you can't determine with any certainty what's going to happen. There is a probabilistic nature of it rather than a deterministic nature of it.
I want to say something, but it's going to come off the wrong way, I'm sure of it. But Chad, if there's two theists in here right now, and one believes in the Matrix and one believes in nomadism. So I use the word lightly when I say theist. But if there were a dozen or so theists of different stripes in here right now, and they listen to you, Chad, saying, no, there's just no way. There's no way there's a God. And then they listen to Billy and I saying, there could be. We're open to new evidence. Where do you think the conversation will go in a productive manner, with you, Chad, or with Billy and I? Because we're basically saying we're open to hearing your ideas, your opinions. We might disagree with them, and we might think that the probability of you being right is extremely low, but we're still willing to entertain the idea. But Chad, when you basically say no, I'm not even going to entertain it. It would shatter my worldview. Keep in mind, this is what the Gnostic theists sound like. We're not even going to entertain the idea there's no God. It would shatter my worldview. So please understand that you sound exactly like the Gnostic theists.
I think that's the core difference between the worldviews to me. Like all of the theistic worldviews and then the agnostic, atheistic, or the secularist, or the skeptics, the major difference is evidence leading you to your belief, or your belief forming the evidence you accept. Like so many theists ignore evidence that contradicts them just so that they can preserve their belief, whereas so many skeptics discard your belief if the evidence contradicts it. And I think that this is why it's important to maintain that, hey, I'm open to evidence that will contradict my disbelief in a God.
It's about to get real.
Uh-oh.
Follow. You made a huge mistake by wanting to come on here tonight.